Your startup needs 5 things if it's going to be a success. Idea, team, product, execution, and the one that's most often forgotten is market. Market's the only one you can't change, but a lot of people spend a lot of time building stuff without actually validating it first. So here's 3 stories of 3 startups who didn't build what we know them for today immediately. Instead, they built something, iterated on it quickly, and built something people wanted. It's 2007, and Brian Chesky's been invited by Joe Gebbia to move into his apartment with Nathan Blekerchik in San Francisco to become an entrepreneur. So Brian moves from LA to San Francisco, only to find rent's gone up 25%, and he's a few $100s short. Joe and Brian are both designers, and there's this design conference coming up, so they have this idea to rent out one of their spare bedrooms for people coming in out of town. The only problem is, the spare bedrooms don't have beds, so they make a super simple site, write to a couple of bloggers, and get 3 people interested in their air bed and breakfast. The guests stay with them, they show them around the city, they go to the conference together, and they have an all-around lovely time. And that's the first iteration of their product. A directory of events where people in the area can rent out their spare rooms for people coming in out of town. So they make another site. This one takes 3 weeks, and it's a directory of upcoming events and places that you can stay. They launch at another conference, where now Brian goes as a guest. During that, he learns 2 important things. 1, it's important to take payment up front. It makes things a lot easier, a lot more transparent, and a lot more trustworthy. The second thing is that people don't want it just for conferences. The new vision was to make it just as easy to book someone's home as it is to book a hotel room. They said they wanted 3 clicks to book it, which was their new motto, and they were AirBnB. Now what they started off building wasn't what they ended up building, but without being able to learn, being a host and a guest, they wouldn't have been able to tap into what they needed to build. Instead, they would have spent weeks building the best directory you've ever seen. How would you launch a delivery service website? It seems really difficult, right? Because you have multiple sides to it. You need to make something that restaurants can sign up to, that delivery drivers can sign up to, and there'd be enough delivery drivers to meet demand at any time from consumers who expect a low enough cost to use your app over something else. That seems like a lot of work. So you can do what Palo Alto Delivery did. They only worked in Palo Alto. They had a super simple website that took an hour to build with 8 PDF menus. These were for restaurants in and around Palo Alto, and the only way to order stuff was with a Google Voice call number on the website. That would go to all 4 of the original co-founders, Tony, Andy, Stanley, and Evan, and whoever picked up first was going to be your delivery driver. And this is what became DoorDash. Instead of trying to build out the infrastructure all at once, they scaled it down and delivered it themselves, doing something that wouldn't scale to learn about the problems people might encounter. That's the best way to do it, by being your own customer. Have you ever sat down for a long bus ride only to realize that you've left your USB at home? No, because it's not 2007. But Drew Houston had that problem. And so when he sat down on that bus without anything else to do, he decided to build a product that would let him sync between all his devices the files he needed to use. That's a great start. He knows the problem, so he's able to build something that he wants to use. But is it a product, or just something that he would find useful? Well, there isn't really a way you can release an early version, right? It works or it doesn't work, because it needs to work on various OSs so that you can sync between devices and get the value. It needs to work for different file types. It's a very complicated product. The key point is that the user experience is what makes the product worth using. So you don't want to make something scrappy that doesn't really solve all of the user's problems, because then you won't get the value out of it. So instead, he decided to release a video, a 3-minute video, of what Dropbox would be. Not what it was now, because it wasn't finished, but what it was going to be when it was finished. This helped people understand the value they'd be getting out of Dropbox, and then the waitlist went from 5,000 to 75,000. This allowed him to not only confirm there was a market for people other than him, but also the kinds of people that were encountering this problem and how he could solve that. What these startups did, in a sense, was release an MVP, but I don't know if you could really consider all of them minimum viable products. You tell me what you think in the comments, because Dropbox definitely wasn't an MVP, you couldn't use it, right? And DoorDash was an MVP of sorts. It worked for consumers, the people ordering the food. But DoorDash has a massive pool of delivery drivers. They have a lot of restaurants that they need to sign up easily, quickly, and make them a lot of money too. So it's kind of an MVP for a segment of your market, but as a marketplace, there's more to validate there. And this should be done in moderation. I'm not suggesting that you only validate with scrappy products and never build something polished. And on the other side of it, this isn't to say that you shouldn't make something just for the love of the game. If you want to build something, you should go out and build it. It's just to say, are you using the final version that you need to build as an excuse not to release something, to learn, to be able to build and validate? So get stuck in and do something that doesn't scale. So anyway, I've been Owen from work. Thank you for watching and have a great day.